I get to do this without our Tom from Tower Gangster, but we have another fun check. So Chris updated this. We have, yeah, look at this.
Nice.
Another round of EPAC funding. So this time it's for Collins and Thornapple. Those projects obviously have been completed, but they do that same thing where they complete all the paperwork and file for this, and they kind of take their costs off what it is, and then they donate the savings back to the district instead of retaining it on their end. So $55,000 we received a check. So thanks, Chris, for updating the big checks. It's always fun. Have to keep that one around for the next one. It is a great one, and it's great that they, offer that, right? They go through all that work, and they're kind of giving us that tax reduction that they're receiving. They give it back to the district after their costs.
Remind me what the general idea of the.
It's energy.
Okay.
I think it's
like
like
doing it in some sort of green way,
yeah,
efficient way.
Yeah. Well, it's not the lead or anything like
Yeah,
that. It's just that conservation of updating and making sure.
Yeah. So that all comes back to them, and then they give a portion.
And
to
then
us.
they give us Yeah. They just meet their costs to file. Get all the pull everything together, the documentation that they have to put together to file, and then whatever that time, and then give us the rest. So yeah, that was cool. Okay, that takes us now to our action section, and we have our minutes from our December meeting. And then, exciting, we have our recommendation to approve the construction work at Central High School. This is probably one of the bigger dollar amounts that we've brought to you guys in a long time. So, $26,248,882. Including our contingency fees, general conditions, and allowances. And you can see each of those items on in your packet. There's that detail. There's a letter recommendation from OAK. There's that bid summary. So there were 22 bid categories, and we had 71 bids. So we're really excited about the participation in this project. And we're recommending the low bidder in every category except for category 16. That bidder didn't have a complete response. So once the bids come in, OAK meets with all the apparent low bidders and talks through it. We want to make sure that they understood the full scope and that their bid, because sometimes you were like, ooh, one is up here and one is down here, and you're worried about the low bid, and in this case, the low bidder wasn't complete. So we went to the next bidder. There were only 2 in this particular category. The one thing to note for this one is under budget by quite a bit, I think around $3 million. So we know that there was a component of the design as we were talking through it. It's kind of can almost be a standalone project. We had talked about a small addition as a part of this project, and so we are going to step back and take a look at that as a group and start to look at designing that. We didn't go into a lot of detail. We just that high level, we think it's going to cost, I'm making this number up, $1.5 million. And at that point, we were like, yeah, we can't do it. I think when they were here, when Chris Arnson was here from G&B and presenting, that was one of the items he had talked about. Like, yep, that was one that we kind of just shelved because we didn't think we had the money to do it at that time. So we're going to start to look at that. When I talked to Kevin at OAK, who's our estimator, I said, okay, why? That's kind of a big difference, right? Did we miss something along the way? And no, that it was kind of a couple things. Participation's better, so more competition, right? They're sharpening their pencils. Costs are starting to stabilize, which is allowing them, I think, to sharpen their pencils. And and part of it was a little bit on the conservative side of a couple pieces of this. So that all together is why we came in under budget. And we typically don't go back and say, oh, okay, let's start adding back in things, because sometimes it's, well, you really have to do a whole redesign, right? This one is just different because it's an addition. So you can kind of treat it like a standalone project, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll start to meet as a group here and go through that. So we're excited about that piece. Our next action item is over at Eastern. The chiller is on the fritz. It's been on the fritz, and it's undersized. It's been undersized, and we did the addition a few years ago. It was probably undersized before that addition, and now we've got another addition with the middle school entrance. So we designed it and put that out to bid and received those bids in December. And so we are recommending the low bid for that, which is Right Way Plumbing and Heating, for an amount not to exceed a little over $1 million, so $1,310,750 for that. Work would begin this summer, I think, on that, and then hopefully be ready to go in the fall. It might dip a little bit into the fall after students and staff return, but we're excited about this work, and I think the staff is too once they find out about it. The other mechanical project that we have before you today is related to Central Middle. So we're also recommending, there was only one bidder on this. It's Right Way Plumbing and Heating for an amount not to exceed $1,603,400. And so this is doing some of our standard things: air handling units, unit ventilators, exhaust fans. I'm going to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but pumps and diffusers, all that stuff that isn't glamorous, but it keeps the building functioning and helps to keep the staff warm on days like today and our students as well. So that's the Central Middle mechanical project. That too would begin this summer and be done and ready for the fall. Our next action item is related to some cafeteria furniture over at Northern High. When I was talking to CJ about this, I just joked that it's probably the same furniture from when he was there as a student. That was only a few years ago, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we've tried, we started this a couple years ago, then we tried to start it again last year, and things happened. So with the new principal, Heather has been very interested in this, and so we brought her together. She actually wanted to make it a learning project for some of the students, so she grabbed a handful of students from a variety of classes. Some were marketing, some were design. I can't remember, there was another one that was business. And they were all different grade levels, so it wasn't all, they were just seniors. There were a couple freshmen on it, so it was kind of fun. So we met with them, and GMB, Michelle from GMB met with them, and we had a great time. I mean, they were a great group of kids. Certainly not afraid to share their opinions on how they would want the space to be better for students, and all students. It was fun, them talking about some of our CI students, because of CI programs over there, making sure that they felt a part of the lunch experience, and how do we make sure the furniture is conducive for those students, right? So it was really good. And then they did a little presentation, and I don't remember if we shared that with you. The students did a presentation to the body. There was like a little video, and then they all had to vote on which. We kind of gave them two options, and they had to vote on the options. So we are recommending, and you can see Custer, Duell, Great Lakes, and Interphase for an amount not to exceed $371,615. And so this will cover the cafeteria furniture, creating some different little mini learning environments, so a teacher can pull a full classroom out there to do some things. All of this was done through some purchasing cooperatives, so they already have contracts with MyDeal, Omnia, and Sourcewell, so we'll use those. We didn't go out for a formal bid because that bidding was done for us for that. So we're excited about the cafeteria furniture over at Northern High, and I think the kids are really excited as well.
What's the timing on that one?
We are hoping that with this, with your approval, that would actually be in most of it by spring break, so we can do an install spring break. We'd really love to have, especially for the ones that are seniors, right? To be able to have a few weeks with that new furniture. So we'll push really hard to get as much of that. There's a variety of seating. We did Central High a few years ago, so it's some of the seating is similar, each of those spaces are a little bit different. But there's some of that booth seating, there's some of the long tables with the round seats that are actually attached to them, so it's just kind of runs the gamut, some high top tables as well. And then continuing with the furniture theme, we have a recommendation for Eastern Middle office furniture. So we worked with the office staff there as well to develop that furniture, and so we're recommending Interface Interiors, an amount not to exceed $84,200. Again, using a couple different purchasing cooperatives, MyDeal and Omnia. Furniture, some of the furniture will look very similar to what's in this building. Or it might just be different finishes, but if you go into, my office or any of the director's offices, when we start going to it, that's really kind of what you're going to see over in that space, and we love it. So I think that'll be good. And then the last thing I have is a budget amendment. So I'm going to spend some time here.